Welcome back to Getting Work. Boy Jared, here with my boy Ian. What's going on, man?
Hey, man, how you doing?
Doing all right, dude. Doing all right. Yeah, that indie show happened tonight.
Did it? Oh, man. How was it? I hope they were able to, get a couple of guys out there, maybe pay for everything. That was poor guys, probably tight on money and everything.
Yeah,
that little show.
Yeah, that little
show. They have sparklers and all.
A couple sparklers. Some
yeah.
You know how they do. Nah, man. I mean, hey, first night Wrestlemania 37.
It's in the books.
They actually had a crowd.
Yeah.
Which was oddly weird to see, but it
isn't it?
It was kind of like, okay, oh yeah, it was kind of funny because sometimes I'd watch it and just wait, there's like a reaction. Wait, it's
and not a delayed off reaction,
yeah, or like kind of the oddball, like random crowd noise kind of thing that you kind of had piping in, which I mean, like, I can't fault him for trying to make that work. You gotta do what you gotta do.
But, I mean, hey,
yeah.
The timing was always just a little off, though. You could always tell. But Vince McMahon, for the last year, Vince McMahon got what he always wanted, which was complete control of the crowd and their reaction. So that's
true. That is true.
Yeah, so he got full control. He had his moment. That's his moment. So but move on.
But Mother Nature decided she wasn't going to just let this go off without a hitch.
No. They delayed about a half hour. Oh, and in fact, I came on, did the little 30-second, hey, we're going to do this later on commercial, lack of a better term. And about that time, it was like, I was going to tell you a little bit about, sort of what was happening at the beginning of the show, but all right, never mind. It's raining. Somebody tried to get fried. It sounded like somebody tried to get fried. One of their mics like shorted out during one of the interviews or something.
And I can't remember his name. The announcer, Stratton, whatever.
Oh yeah. In the back, yeah.
Yeah, well, the guy, had to, I guess, get his headset because you had Cole and Samoa Joe out there with the whole like full clear reindeer
ponchos.
on the ponchos.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
And it was just hilarious. And like, the other guy's like, his mic's not even working. So
they tried to set him up.
I will say, you know what? I think I will give a lot of the folks props and like the people that came out, like, because obviously that wasn't planned. So they pretty much had to do their stuff off the top of their head.
WWE has some non-scripted interviews. So that is
not
promos and stuff.
Not planned,
wild.
But when you have a rain delay and you're live, what else are you gonna do, right?
No, it was actually pretty good.
I thought
Lashley, and that was
McIntyre. Yeah, that
Lashley
was good.
McIntyre, the two of them, they were pretty good.
Seth Rollins did a really good job.
Mike.
Kevin. Hey, Mike. Kevin.
Okay, can we hyphenate? I guess we should say this. I mean, if you are watching this, you should, you probably know what you're getting into. But
sure.
Hey, spoilers in case you haven't watched WrestleMania Night 1, because this, whole show is going to be about what happened in Night 1. So just there's your heads up.
Hey, you have duly been warned.
Yeah.
So screw it, man. Let's jump right into it.
All right, yeah.
I think all in all, I think the presentation was done well. I think having it live, but having it outside kind of helped with the atmosphere and everything. Sure. But they didn't want to waste any time. They went straight into the men's heavyweight championship, the WWE championship, Lashley versus McIntyre. And this was a pound fest. This was a beat down on
two big
both
swole
ends.
guys just
Yeah,
battling.
yeah.
And a surprisingly, I hate to jump to the end to jump back to the beginning, but a surprisingly clean finish. I mean, I consider it a clean finish. I do. Tell me, I want you to. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Well, I'll talk about it in a little bit. That's probably the one thing that I thought was kind of weirdly executed.
Yeah, it was.
It's just so I think all in all, you had both guys really showing off what they can do. Both of them, it was just kind of a back and forth. It was hard to say which one. Like, no one was really kind of underneath necessarily for long enough to really be saying like, okay, yeah, he's, like he's going to have that Hulk out moment. It wasn't like that. I mean, basically, it would just go back and forth and back and forth. And, I would say that, I was actually, and I think it was just I hadn't watched Drew McIntyre wrestle for a bit. He surprised me in the sense of just like the suplexes he was pulling off, some of the technical stuff that he was doing, and I think I forgot just how purely athletic he is, with just the doing the kip up and just a lot of the moves that he pulled off. I was really surprised at how just the moves that he was able to make and how smooth the match was. It was two big guys going at it, but it wasn't a slow, trudge or anything. This was aggressive. This was just full on. They were setting the tone for the night, I think, and it was just boom, 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 boom. And so, I think it was pretty good. I was last night when we were talking, we were trying to figure out maybe where Sheldon and Cedric might come into the mix, and I don't know. I'm glad they didn't, but I can't say I'm not surprised.
Yeah. There's sort of the back and forth as far as that goes. The writers. Yeah, sometimes WWE just can't get out of their own way. But it was a clean. The complaint is that WWE never has a clean finish, that type of thing. This was. I consider it a clean finish.
Yeah, I think it falls into the territory. I think because
I mean, just because somebody yells at you,
right?
Especially if they're trying to portray this as being a sport just like the NBA or NFL and stuff like that. I'll table what I think as far as that goes. But if that's what you're trying to do, someone yelling in the crowd at you slightly shouldn't make you stop doing anything ever. So yeah, MVP yells at Drew as he's going to do the Claymore, and for some reason Drew listens to him.
I think that's the thing. I think that it's not like MVP wasn't out there.
He didn't trip him. He didn't jump on. No. He didn't even jump on the ropes. It was just like, "Hey guys, stop!" And he was like, "What? What did you say?" Okay.
Yeah. And
kind of a dingy finish. I mean, if you're in a fight, the last thing you're doing is listening to somebody off on the corner talking to you. So.
No, especially when you should. I mean, you should almost hardly be able to hear anything but like the blood
you're in that
pumping
zone.
in your head. That should be it.
Yeah, that's it.
And yeah, to have him be able to be broken out of that zone in that moment like that, I thought was a bit wonky. But I agree in the sense that it was technically clean because. I mean, there was
no physical interference. There was no jumping. Like I said, nothing get thrown in. He didn't get hit with a cane. You did early on see. I did want to say this. You did early on see the effects of the reason that it was the show was delayed. There had lightning and thunderstorms in the area, and it was raining.
Yeah,
I'm not so sure it wasn't raining during this match. To be honest with you, it was probably going away, but during the opening. Parts of WrestleMania, it was clearly still raining. So there was one spot where they got on top of the ropes, and I believe they were supposed to do a superplex off the top. It just kind of looked like that moment. And they're on the top rope, and you could see them kind of feeling their way. And there was that moment of, no, I don't think we can do this. And so they went into, kind of played it off, did something else. But I think that was supposed to be a moment where they got up on the ropes and did a shot off the, hey, gaming with your boy. Yeah. How's it going? Good to see you, buddy. Man?
Yeah, we're doing a little review of WrestleMania. I don't know if you saw it. If you are a fan and didn't see it, we're going to tell you, man, we are going to be spoiling the heck out of this thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's all spoilers, this whole thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, we hear you being tired. It's, it was, it was kind of, I mean, today was kind of, I wouldn't say it was lazy because I did a lot of stuff around the house and backyard and stuff, but still pretty chill.
Yeah.
But then after kind of watching WrestleMania like this, you were watching a new Godzilla versus Kong? Yeah, Ian's seen that.
Yeah, I saw that.
I still need to watch that.
Last week, I think it was.
Yeah, I think I might watch that
spoilers for Jared. We won't give any spoilers for Jared.
Oh no, who's gonna win? The big lizard or the big gorilla?
See? Who knows?
I'm telling I know. It's like I said, I could know the ending and still go to watch it just for what it is. But yeah, I think they started off the show pretty cool with a good match, and I would say that all in all, pretty good start. We both picked Lashley to win this, so surprise. I think it was more the question of,
I think we both picked there being some shenanigans.
Exactly. So, we just weren't exactly sure what. That was the one thing we didn't call. Yeah.
Right.
So this next one.
So actually, in between the two matches, there was Bayley was there. She was kind of just shows up randomly in the back, and she tells the NWO is standing back there. Of course, they were Hall of Fame. I think class of 2020, if I'm right.
Correct.
So last year's, yeah.
Yep.
They're standing there talking to Titus Worldwide, and she comes up and she's acting like she's trying to host with them, and she's just being goofy, as she throws up the too sweet sign, and Nash blows her off, and finally X-Pac he does the deal. And he finally X-Pac and Hall, I think out of pity, gave her a half-hearted, okay, sure,
okay, all right,
go away. But then everybody walks off. So she pops up later, but she's the Bayley. If she's getting paid for this, this is the best and easiest paycheck she's ever gotten.
Sure.
for this appearance. So good for her. Anyhow,
it's like, we don't have anything for you, but we're going to let you do this. Okay, so
just come in and be kind of silly. And he was. So
I'll let you talk about this one because this is where I had to step out for a bit, so I didn't get.
Okay.
I got to miss this masterpiece of a match.
It's so strange you picked this one to disappear on. Well, first off, it actually had a surprise. There was a random team that was just thrown in. Billie Kay and Carmella, which they did sort of halfway show at the end of one. It's not yesterday's SmackDown, but I think the week before. Billie Kay handed her the headshot. She's been going around with the headshot. She did hand Carmella a headshot, but that was it 2 weeks ago. And now they're in WrestleMania as a surprise entrance. Even Cole said that, Michael Cole even says, hey, this is a team that just got put together this afternoon. So I don't know why or who or what. It was like they almost were supposed to be there the whole time, but somebody forgot to write them in the storyline I don't know. It was weird.
I mean, matches like this are such a freaking train wreck anyway.
Oh, it is. It is. So the two of them come out, Naomi and Lana. I will say I did love Lana's entrance. The black light at the entrance was
on
good.
Point.
On point. Two of them at least. So this match was clunky. There's no other way to say it. It was Billie Kay is funny. Anytime she's in it, it's sort of amusing. She was coming into the ring. She was trying to copy Carmella, and she was always just enough in the way where Carmella's like, "Okay, now back up so I can roll in the. Okay, stop posing with me. I need you just like 3 inches that way." That type of thing. It was fun to watch. Shockingly, they actually won. We said that Lana and Naomi, if we were going to pick people, were going to be the ones that won. They did not. They were out first. So
okay.
Yeah, they were gone. After that, the Riot Squad ran in. There was some back and forth. Riot Squad won. Then Mandy and Dana entered. Always good to see Mandy. She there was a lot of back and forth. The probably funniest part, maybe the funniest part of the thing. Mandy does make her all-time WrestleMania moment. Unfortunately, it will be on the blooper reel because she fell flat on her butt walking in. So you can tell the ramp is still wet. I mean, she's just walking. All of a sudden, you just see her drop, and she drops to the ground.
Man.
And pops. You see her just start laughing because I mean, what can you do?
Right.
It's still not as epic as Titus last few years back, where he comes running in, trips, and dives under the ring.
Oh, I think it'll be very hard to beat that. That's just
that is so epically great. That is yeah. So she falls on her butt. Hey, it happens. You know what?
Yep.
It's whatever. And she pops up immediately. You see her laugh again. They all go in the ring. A decent match back and forth. Riot Squad, they win. So they get the pin. Final team that comes out is Natalya and Tamina. Natalya right off the top tries to go for the sharpshooter. She was playing. They were not getting paid by the hour. You can tell.
Right.
So she went straight for the sharpshooter, and there was a quick surprise roll up. They basically dominated pretty early on. Excuse me. They were the power team, and they showed they were the power team. So that they were overpowering Riot Squad at that point. The end I thought was kind of odd, not bad odd. Just I'm not so sure that an audible wasn't called right in the middle of the end of this match. Back and forth, the usual. So the Riot Squad, I can't remember which of them is down. I'm bad with their names to begin with. I can't remember which of them is down at this point. But there's clearly Natalya standing over her, got her legs up, getting ready to put her in the sharpshooter. Like, it's clearly the end of the match. This is that moment. And Natalya kind of turns and she looks around at everybody as she's standing about to put, Brett, her uncle's famous sharpshooter on. So, and at that moment, she turns and looks over at Tamina, who's does not look like she's expecting anything else to go on in this match. Because she is on the ropes and she's in the corner. I mean, it's nothing like she's doing anything wrong per se, but just the human interaction, you could tell that moment of, what do you point at? What's going on? Just end this match. Let's get going. And she's hanging on the rope, and she's clearly tired. She's winded. Let's just put it like that. She's very winded at this point. And she's kind of hanging on the ropes, and Natalya turns and points at her. And the crowd is cheering, and she points at her, and Tamina's looking at her with this look of, what are you pointing at me for? Just sharpshooter. We go. That's how this works. And so she goes and she tags her, and Tamina has to get up on the top rope. Like I said, it was just clunky enough to wonder if that wasn't an audible by Natalya in that moment, just to be like the good person that she, I think off camera, if she actually is.
Sure. Yeah.
That moment to let Tamina give tribute to her father, Superfly, and so Tamina climbs up to the top ropes, gives a very unsteady tribute for her dad, the way her dad would jump off, and she jumps off, does the splash off the top ropes to win. The match is over. So the two of them will move on.
Yeah,
that was a long way to say that, but
sure.
That like I said, that's sort of, it was interesting. It was nice. It was a nice little moment in there. So we'll have some other ones here as we go through too.
Yeah.
After that was the go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I didn't catch the very end of it. I think I came in about a quarter of the way through. I came back quarter of the way through the Cesaro and Seth Rollins match. So if there's anything right after next.
Right after that, there was the 24/7 commercial. Joe Average. Put in my notes. Let's move on. So let's do that. Nice. That was also a thing. So we'll just move on.
Cool.
Rollins and Cesaro.
Yeah. So I think, you can catch on. I think that when I came in, like I said, I think it was about a quarter of the way through, if I had to guess. It was right around the time. And I'm sure that the whole Cesaro trying to get Rollins in the swing was a big part of the match, all in all.
Yeah.
But I came in right around the time Cesaro was trying to. I think he had actually made the attempt about 3 times, and then actually ended up getting Rollins in a sharpshooter for a spell, and then it got broken up, and then finally came around. I mean, I think, both guys pulled off some really impressive moves in this match. Not surprising given who they are, but
yeah, exactly. You can tell these two are polished. I mean, they're very good at what they do. That one of the funny parts, I will say, the rain might have been the biggest, making its presence felt the most at the beginning of this whole WrestleMania. Rollins, when he first comes out, the whole burn it down thing, and they're supposed to have these lines, for lack of a better term, of fire that were going to go up, and like 3 of them lit and 2 on this side, but none of the rest of them. It was all over the place. After that, though, Rollins gets in the ring, and then, for lack of a better term, a political commercial kicks off, because it looked like one of those. This ad was not paid for, is paid for by blah 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 blah, and it's basically just downgrading Cesaro. Is this the type of person that we want our kids to be? He's never even been in a WrestleMania as a singles competitor. Whereas Seth Rollins, he has won many titles, and da 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 da. It was this whole, like I said, political ad. Just think political ad.
Sure.
These two, that's what that was. It was actually kind of funny. So at the end, it says, "This ad was paid for by friends of Seth Rollins. It has nothing to do with Seth Rollins himself." And it was obviously
not. Of course not.
Yeah, of course not. Yeah. So anyhow. Yeah, there was a back and forth. These two are, like I said, they're really good at what they do. Cesaro got him with a 9 swing early, and then Rollins kept countering him. Early on, he kept countering him. Yeah. He finally catches him, and Cesaro hurts his arm early in the match. His arm.
Sure.
And that played into it, because he only got him 9 times, and he had to let him go. And then, honestly, one of the best moves, I don't remember seeing Rollins do this. He probably has. I haven't seen every match of his, but he goes up and does a corkscrew splash off the top rope.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing him do it. He may have done it before, but it was very impressive.
I want to say he did something along those lines, but it's been a while.
It's been a long time. If he did that, that was probably like a young Rollins type of deal.
But and it's weird too that he did that move. I think they've kind of loosened up on it a little bit, but typically, you're not gonna pull a move off like that as a heel, because it was just too spectacular of a move.
Too big.
Yeah.
It was big.
It was impressive. And then Cesaro is like the master of the European uppercut, just all out of, like, I remember it was one of those
running rope to rope, corner to corner.
But even some of his reversals would have him, and then he would just catch him with a European uppercut. And then, it was when he was getting ready to come up for the curb stomp near the end.
Yeah,
and he
caught him
it
right
with the European, and it was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
so
I did like the part where Rollins is telling him that, he's chastising Cesaro on the ground. He's like, I've survived the neutralizer, because he had gotten him in that. And Rollins had kicked out, and I survived the swing, and I am a god. And God is a very big, they all think they're gods. That's what,
sure.
JBL thinks he's a god. This guy. Yeah. So it's the little G, I guess. That's what matters. So, yeah, they went back and forth. Cesaro, talking about moves, one of the oddest moves I saw was Cesaro gives him a UFO, I think he called it.
Oh, that
one. Off like this
torture
rack. Have you seen it? Did you see this part?
I saw that. That was impressive. Okay. That was something else.
Yeah, he holds him up as like the old school Lex Luger torture rack, and that's what it looks like, sort of a little flatter. He was a little flatter, but that's basically what he starts off, and he starts spinning, and then somewhere along the line he just lets him go, but keeps spinning, and is just standing like this as he spins around and around, and Rollins is still on his neck, and he's just going around and around and around, and then they both being dizzy at that point, he just falls down. He goes and grabs him again and does 23 spins, or swings rather.
Right.
Neutralizer.
Yeah.
Match over. So.
But I was also one of the things I was sitting there watching that match, I was wondering, is like Cesaro incapable of getting legitimately dizzy? Because he snaps back from doing those moves pretty dang quick.
Too fast. Yes.
And so I agree.
I can't turn around 3 times without going, okay, I need to take a 5-minute pause just to get myself together.
It's a chair around. It's a chair. I'm
keep moving.
I'm going to fall on my butt. It just depends on what. Yeah. But I think, again, this was one of those matches that it was just a good, it wasn't for a title. It wasn't really for anything. It was kind of a silly storyline around trying to, get Rollins in this big swing and all that stuff. And Rollins kind of playing this, I don't know exactly how to describe his character right now. Maybe it's just
Messiah.
Maybe it's just like, is this like Rollins off of no sleep because he has a kid now, like a young baby?
Yeah, that
now?
might
like
be.
He just has no sleep, and now he's just kind of okay, whatever, man. It's just
automatic. It's just I will say this might have been the first moment of the night. That's what this night was about. This night was about the feel good moments, and that's probably, if this night is setting the tone, this is a welcome back fans type of night. That's what this was.
I'm glad Cesaro's getting some shine on WrestleMania too,
but that's exactly what it was, because it was clearly a moment. The crowd, you can tell it was I've been here, and the crowd was appreciating him. It was sort of the Cesaro appreciation moment. So,
right,
that theme pretty much follows through the night, to be honest with you. So, anything else on this one?
No. I think it was just a great match. Kind of an exhibition in a way, because it really wasn't for anything. They weren't even fighting for like a spot or anything. So, but all in all, I think it was a damn good match. So, yeah, good on them.
Yeah. After that was New Day versus AJ and Omos. New Day. Don't you dare be sour.
Big E comes out.
Big E comes out to give him the entrance.
Yeah.
He comes out, gives him
live,
that entrance.
No doubt. I mean, that's just
He got a far bigger ovation and pop than the immortal Hulk Hogan.
Did
at the beginning of the show, which was hilarious. So,
which is funny too, because they were supposed to be like the host. Like, I didn't see them after the beginning.
No, Well, you see him two more times, I think. The Bailey piece, and
Well, with
then later they
NWO.
introduce him. Yeah, they introduce when Bailey
Okay.
comes out, where Bailey was in the back. He was there, and then they get introduced, as part of the Hall of Fame.
Well, no, I'm just talking about like Titus and Hulk as hosts.
Mm-mm. Only time you see them is during that Bailey backstage segment,
right?
After the beginning. So,
oh, that's right. That's right. I do remember now. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, New Day versus AJ and Omos,
he lived up to his billing.
A monster, just a freak of nature, and he played it right. The New Day played it right, and holy crap, dude! I mean,
yeah. I did laugh. Almost comes down with, everybody else is in tights. He comes down in what he could have wore to the club later. It's just like a jacket, some pants, black pants, and a black shirt. Just
yeah.
The same thing. Basically, you see him every week so far. He just wore that, and he took his jacket off, and so it was like a short sleeve cut off shirt. But yeah, he was just in regular street clothes. He played his part. I mean, he was all of it. I'll let you start on this one.
Well,
you saw this part, right?
Yeah, I did. I think the match was orchestrated the right way. I think that I think Omos was going to start, but then they were basically egging on AJ to get in to start off the match.
Sure.
And so then the New Day's whole game plan was and it was funny because Xavier like explicitly stated it in the corner one time. We are tag team specialists. We are cutting off the ring so your partner cannot tag. just
to the point where it was almost as if he had read the lines on the side, the script that the announcers were supposed to be reading.
Right.
Because at that very moment, Joe was like, and well, never mind. I won't say this part since Xavier just said the thing I was about to say. That's my line. That's my line.
Yeah.
Now. Yeah. And that's exactly what this was. It was entertaining, though. Surprisingly entertaining. Oh, not surprisingly. These three of the four are absolute tops of as far as this goes.
Yeah. And so go ahead.
I will say this. Xavier, I hear him more. He must either know where every mic is or he does not stop talking. And I don't know if it's or some combination of the two. I literally heard him the entire match. You heard him talking the whole time. He was off the ring. He had Francesca going.
Yep.
He was while Kofi was in the ring twerking.
Yeah.
And he's talking. He's the part that you said.
Yeah. This match is like a bit of and I think because they had the crowd, they were playing it up. But this reminds me of more of even like an old school New Day match, because that's exactly how it would go down. Xavier Woods would not stop talking the entire damn match. And regardless of what was going on, Xavier Woods' mouth was going. He was either talking or it was playing Francesca. Something was going on. At one time, he was like, someone was like, hey, you guys okay? You guys doing all right?
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah.
You good? Just like talking to the crowd. I mean, just
constantly. Yeah, you hear him talk. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that part. Yeah, who are you talking to? Are you good? How you doing?
You guys okay? Yeah.
Yes. Literally, when I say I heard him the whole match, I heard him the whole match. I don't mean in the ring. I mean, he was on the side. There were other people doing stuff.
Yeah.
And he was, so what's going on? I'm doing this. I'm doing that.
They just missed Biggie doing like his impression of Rick Rude, kind of, because he wasn't out there like doing that thing. I mean,
Right.
that was the only thing that was probably missing from this to make it like an old
Sure.
school New Day match, because
Sure.
man, they played this up like, and they even did like the unicorn stomp and
Well,
like
I was gonna
all
say
that. Yeah.
there was another team. Maybe I just don't remember. Maybe I'm only remembering them. I could have sworn there was another team that did something that's very similar to this move, but I could not think of who it was. And I'll have to think about it a little bit. But there was another team that I saw do this, and I'm like,
I mean,
I'm sure
it's something like that been done before.
Sure,
you know,
where they start doing the tag and they stomp, and then they tag and they stomp,
keep tagging.
stomp, and they tag and they stomp.
And what was even better was when they were doing like a trios match, where then when you had all three of them in there, and then they would do
and
that.
They just could keep
it was just they would just keep going and going and going, and then they'd get sillier and sillier with it as they'd get going.
Of course,
and just,
of course.
You know, and so I mean, so they were really playing it up, and then it was I can't remember the exact chain of events, but basically AJ was down on the mat, and there was like a sequence, but like Xavier was maybe just a little bit too slow
got on the
draw,
top of
and
he got on top rope. Remember, he's on the top rope.
Yeah, and
he's
AJ's
in the middle of the ring.
Don't do it. Don't you do it, AJ. Don't you do it. And then AJ's is like, I got no reason not to. Because, I can't remember where Kofi was. That's the part I can't remember exactly.
Kofi's out the ring at this point.
Yeah, I know that.
Kofi had tagged in.
Yeah.
I think Xavier had tagged in.
Yeah.
Who got on the top rope to do a move, but it was up there a little slow. And AJ's in the middle of the ring by this time, kind of sits up like,
hey.
In this corner, you're on the ropes. And in this corner, well, I can see somebody's knee. So
I will go tag this person's knee. I know who he, Yeah, and so then he once almost comes into the match, it's a whole nother thing. The whole mood of the match
plays
changes.
The power guy just as well as I've seen a power guy played in a long time. So
yeah. I mean, he just had them. I mean, basically, regardless of what they were doing, and like the spin around backbreakers, and the thing where he had Xavier up, and he basically just had his big claw of a hand over his face, and was just stretching him.
It was a total grown man versus a child type of
pretty much. Battle. And the looks on Kofi and Xavier's faces when they like okay,
priceless.
Our whole game plan is done. We are screwed. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. They're gonna go cry in the car. Pretty much.
It wraps up with AJ doing a phenomenal forearm off of
almost shoulders. Yeah,
which if you think about that is really hard to do. But I mean, but he does it, and then almost I can't remember what the finisher was, but basically he pins him with one foot.
Pretty much,
he's just standing. Yeah, and they're the Raw Tag Team champs. So AJ and Omos.
And I think that's the other thing too. I mean, I think this is one of those things where it takes everybody involved to really pull it off the right way.
It does.
Almost, I don't think he has no problems lifting anybody up at all. And I think one of it was it was Jim Cornette talking about Bobby Lashley, actually, when Lashley first came into wrestling. And I think this when they were both at early days when he was I think even early on when he was at TNA. And so, it was something where he was messing around, and ended up Bobby put Jim up, kind of up above his head like this, and ends up like picking him, but ends up like overcorrects and like almost drops Jim on his head. He ends up like Jim being, at least, he's a manager, but he's taken enough bumps, so he knew how to like get his, tuck his neck and like land on his back.
Yeah, I realized
what the hell? And Bobby was like, I didn't, like, you were a lot lighter than I thought you'd be. So the point is that Bobby had been like basically picking people up hard way without any assistance.
Exactly.
So he's been
there was no
picking
jumping.
up. So he's been picking up grown men, just beefing them up. And the reason why what I'm going there with this is like, almost like had no problems just picking up anybody in the ring, pretty much wherever he wants to put them.
Sure.
So from that side of it, I think he's still a little green, but
they handpicked these people. There's a reason that the 3 people in the ring, aside from him, are all rather light.
That and
really
athletes.
Talented.
Yes.
So I think they're all about my height.
Yeah.
They're all So
and this kind of comes into play in a later match and for like in a different way. But I think all 4 of them really played their parts at all stages of the match really, really well. And I think, good showing for Almost, whatever his name is. He's now a champion at WrestleMania. Got a belt. So hey.
Yeah, I can't. One of the better debuts, I would say, as far as kind of within everything, at least up until this point. It was one of the better WrestleMania debuts. I will say this. The Weeknd, this has nothing really to do with wrestling, but the Weeknd clearly has some deal with Raymond James Stadium because first he gets the Super Bowl and now WrestleMania too.
Is he like a Tampa native, maybe?
I have no idea. No, he's Canadian, isn't he? I thought he was Canadian. That's so. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure he's Canadian. Anyhow, neither here nor there. I just kind of laughed when they popped that up. They're like, The Weeknd, did he just hang out? He's like, you know what? Super Bowl's February. I'll just stay. I'll just hang out here. So
he is Canadian.
There's nobody in the stadium anyhow. He is, right?
He is Canadian. Maybe he's living in Tampa.
Maybe, but he was clearly got to deal with that arena.
I know.
So
yeah.
Good for him. Hey, yeah.
Maybe it's kind of, or maybe like Riaz's recording studio or something. Who knows? But anyway,
maybe. Yeah.
Then the
Nickelodeon match.
The Nickelodeon match.
That's what I'm calling this. This is the Nickelodeon match. Because Braun. This whole match, it was slime. There's legitimately slime. I've forgotten about that, or I don't think I saw it during the build up to this match in the other shows.
Yeah.
Because at some point he actually does. That's why I call it the Nickelodeon match from now on.
Yeah, because he
legitimately pulls a bucket of slime out and throws it on Braun. During the build up. I'm telling you, it's the Nickelodeon match. I'm not kidding. Like that, legitimately, the whole premise of this match,
whole story
is about bullying. Except it was Shane was the brains and Braun was the brawn. So obvious, 2 on the nose there. So are we teaching that Braun wins over brains? You should just, if someone calls you a name, you should just beat them up. I don't know what we were shooting for in like the grander scale here. You don't use your brains. You should only use brawn. I have no idea what we were going for. The long-term message here, I got nothing.
Right.
No idea. Right. It's like they started off with something and then they just forgot what they were writing and then just kept writing anyhow. It's like a weird game of telephone, except they were playing WWE writer 101 type of stuff in the back.
Right.
No real idea. But
I will say this. I think the only thing that I take away from this match is that Shane McMahon is still somehow able to do the stuff that he was doing. Now, it's not like he was like the best technical wrestler or anything like that. He's always just more kind of a brawler, which is kind of easy to hide a lack of skill by taking more of a quote unquote brawling style, but still like taking the some of the moves. He still did coast to coast, which is like, all right, man, like you can still pull that off. All right, man, I'll give it to you.
Good for you.
And be able to climb the cage the way he was, and he had done an elbow off of some stuff previously, like in the run, like lead into everything, and so I was like, okay, all right, Shane, dude, you still.
Yeah, you
still got some stuff, but other than that, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, weirdly enough, I would say that I thought if you could take all of the insanity that was the build up to this and the story, if you could take the storyline out of this match, this was actually a pretty solid match.
Sure.
A lot of interesting takes on an old style match. It's a cage match. That's
right.
One of the oldest of specialty matches there are. There was some stuff I had not seen before. There was a spot. Shane is at the top of it, and he rips a part of the cage off where there's a metal sheet, basically, and he starts. He took that off and starts beating. I'd never seen that move. There's another spot that Shane looks like he's won. Basically, he's climbing down the outside, and for some reason sticks his hand through the cage and starts waving at Braun, who immediately jumps up and grabs his hand, and then just rips the cage open.
Yeah,
he literally
pulls him back open. In, and it's I think I think
it was that, and there was one more. There was one. Oh, the where Elias and Riker are helped. Shane's climbing up from the inside, and they climb up on the outside to kind of try to pull him over. And about the time Shane gets to the top, and they're pulling him, Braun runs into the cage from the inside, knocks both of them off, falls back himself, and then Shane drops to the. I don't think I've seen something like that either. But yeah, those three kind of spots where that's pretty good,
Yeah.
And then of course Shane doing the cross the ring jump that he does.
Yeah, coast to coast.
Coast to coast, yeah.
Yeah. I think that I think I agree in a sense that I think the match in and of itself wasn't terrible. I think, but again, I think they've sullied it with the lead up, and the writing going in just wasn't up to snuff, especially for a cage match. And I think they Shane comes in, he's doing his thing, and it's like, oh yeah, he's like, and like you could see he was still doing all of his moves and all that stuff. And so because I think the go home was basically Braun was able to kind of set up the stipulation and saying that I want you in a cage. So basically none of that foolishness, although of course there still was, which is why Shane, instead of acting pensive, although it might have even been better if Shane walked out a little kind of nervous looking.
Yeah,
and
I
then
agree.
Had the interference beforehand,
right?
Because that's the other thing too with the steel cages is that they're automatically no DQ. So even up to the point of getting into the cage there's nothing to stop anyone from attacking you ahead of time. But it was but it was smart too, because it was really the only way to really establish any kind of even footing for Shane.
Exactly. Because I mean, if this, you had to do something. No one's going to believe that the cage door is going to close, and they're just going to stand mano a mano, and somehow Shane's going to do anything in this match other than get beat to a pulp. So,
okay,
yeah.
Well, enough of the kind of
the dicey
matches. Although, like I said, they had
not every single one, but that particular one.
Again, I think it was really the Shane match and the Braun Braun Shane match and the tag team turmoil
was a little dicey
match. Yeah, because that's just, you can't. Yeah. If anyone could really come together, like really put together a solid, structured tag team turmoil type of match, they should get Booker of the Year, because there's just
right.
There's no way to do it.
No. So after that match is over, then they introduced the Hall of Fame. Bayley was back out. I don't know who she was impersonating this whole time. She was supposed to be like a talk show host or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
like I maybe I'm just an idiot on this. I do not know.
I don't know if she was. I don't know myself, but she was just
being silly.
She was just
the whole time.
She was having a ball.
Good for her. She was having fun. Good for her.
Having
honestly,
a ball. Yeah, but.
And she introduces, so they do the vignettes of the 2020 Hall of Fame. Of course, it's headlined by the NWO. So the oddly enough, I will say they introduce everybody sort of as a group individually, but they're all standing out there except for the NWO, who actually gets their true entrance. The funniest part of that whole thing, or odd spot, was, of course, Hogan has to come out doing his, guitar thing. And the person who seemed genuinely as the nicest and most happy to be there and respectful to everybody on the other ones that are, Hall of Famers was X-Pac.
Oh, yeah.
I would never think that. Like, ever think that. He was genuine. The entrance is still going on. They kind of have it. He's turning to each of the other members that are on the Hall of Fame, not in the NWO, but the others that are standing out there, and like showing respect to them and, cheering them on, like, hey, we're getting our moment, but hey, great job. Mm-hmm. He smiles and is waiting to. It just kind of caught me off guard for a minute. I would have never picked him to be that guy, but anyhow.
Yeah.
And Stone Cold lets us know that Dallas is going to host WrestleMania next year. So the whole Texas rattlesnake, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. Right.
And Booker T comes out to join commentary around this time as well, because Bad Bunny and The Miz, well, it's not just them. Bad Bunny, Damian Priest versus The Miz and Morrison.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So that match comes up. Let me just do this one little part, and then we'll go into the match. Sure. I will say, as this match started, if you ever wonder the difference between what wrestling was in the Attitude Era, or even not that far back, but if you ever wonder where the differences are, that you can look legitimately at the beginning introductions of this match. Back in the day, you had acolytes and minions that would come with torches, fire, the hooded black robes. There was death. There was somebody there was gonna be a fight.
Yeah.
They would come, fill the ring. They would surround the ring, and then the Undertaker. There was the bell would toll, and here comes the Undertaker. It is death. This is somebody's gonna get it. This is it for somebody.
Right.
That was then. Usually this is your part. I know this is normally your part.
No, go with it, man, because I know where you're going, so I'm like, roll with it.
I was watching, and a whole bunch of Easter bunnies started running out. I mean, it wasn't even Easter bunnies. It's just rabbits. And these people dressed as rabbits were running out, and they're hopping down to the ring. There's a lot of them. And then they got into the ring, and they started just jumping around. I mean, I know it tied to something, sort of. It was so... What has wrestling become? I died a little bit. There was just that moment. I died a bit inside. I can do without that. I can do without that. anyhow, that's my piece. That's my part on that.
I agree. And so the only thing I can think so I did catch the fact that so the Miz and Morrison, I guess, had put together a song, like their own song, basically making fun of, Bad Bunny and all this stuff. And so, they even did like a music video. And so this was basically exactly. And so they did their entrance and all this stuff. And I was like, okay, yeah, these guys, I know what they're doing. They're specifically trying to look bad here. Okay.
Yes, and
so
if I can pull myself away from that for a moment, they did a great job.
Exactly, and it's just but I mean, yeah, they absolutely had like this was just horrible, and I guess that was the intent. And so if that's the intent, job done. I mean,
nailed it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's a line of that song. I don't think I may not have quoted it quite right, but it's basically, of course, they're talking to Bad Bunny. So there's a line in the song that you're not OG like Bugs or Roger Rabbit.
There's just not enough. There's just not enough in that class, man.
I just was the bottle.
But
anyhow,
then
moving on.
But then it shifts. Damian Priest, he's not a big surprise, his entrance, but it was good. It was it was well done. No big shocks or anything.
No.
But then Bad Bunny comes out.
Bad Bunny got the Triple H treatment.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
As far as WrestleMania. He rides in on a semi, on like top of a semi with a little handle that he rides in on. And for a moment, I wasn't sure what they were going to do with the semi. Were they going to make him walk like 2 miles because he drives in from the outside of the stadium.
Yeah.
And is on top of the semi. And he's, and then he just pulls up to the crowd. The semi just drives right up to the crowd. I'm like, they're going to either run over a whole bunch of people now or something, and somehow, so he gets off and does come down through the stage area.
Sure.
But yeah, it was just kind of funny as he comes in. He definitely got the Triple H treatment as far as the best entrance of the night. I think his is the best entrance of the night.
Nobody else got that. Like it was pretty much just I mean, really, I guess the bunny thing was like the most gimmicked entrance of the evening up to that point.
Sure. Yeah.
And then you get this one, and it's like kind of, I think, it at least kind of made up for it, in a while. Kind of helped me kind of basically.
I don't think anything made up for that. That was really just.
Yeah, it was horrible. It was horrible. It absolutely was. But then this match happens.
Yes. I will say, I'll let you go. I'll let you go first.
We were texting each other back and forth about this match, and I think it was at one point where basically I was just saying, dude, Bunny is legit.
I was stunned.
Is legit.
If you had told me Bunny was going to come out, do a couple of punches, maybe some 1 or 2 half moves, get beat up a little bit, dive over and tag Priest and let it go from there, I'd have been like, yeah, that's about right. And I mean, like, legitimately, when I say my expectations were low,
it's a celebrity.
That's what they were. Yeah, it's a celebrity. I don't mean anything bad against him. I'm not knocking. I'm not knocking him at all. That would be. I would go, yeah, that's a good match. Okay, that's sort of what was supposed to be. He was in the match most of the time,
right,
and fought the match most of the time,
right.
Him,
yeah.
He took the bumps. He took where he was winning the match. He did reversels's.
Well, that's the thing. I mean,
he did legitimate moves. Now granted. Yeah,
go ahead. Well, what I was going to say was because I brought this point up. We're about to say the same thing. Yeah, and because I brought this point up that we would be talking about this again in a different light around when we were talking about Omos. Again, I think this is a case where I think we kind of started to see a bit of a highlight, especially for the Miz, where he was able to work with him, and you could kind of like, especially if you know to pay attention, you could see where he was giving Bunny instructions in the ring. And
you heard him once. You heard him one time. He even he told him, like, "You're doing great."
yeah.
You hear him on the mic.
So it was, but you could see like he would basically just help him, at least as far as like remembering the pace of the match. So it's like, okay, like Miz again, especially if you remember his history, now it's Miz as the veteran in the ring, and
I really respect that.
I think it was definitely both of it. Was the situation was it was okay, and so let me say this. And again, there's some more old school wrestling pundits that would make fun of this, but they make fun of Kenny Omega because he had a match with like a 9-year-old Japanese girl where she beat him. Right? But it was Kenny just, doing his stuff. Kenny Omega's had a match with a broom. He's had a match.
Isn't he the one that had a match with nobody?
He had a match with an invisible man.
Yes.
Kind of thing. Yeah. And so you can take whatever opinion you want about that kind of thing. But what it does show is, again, it's, where if you're in a match with the right person, then that person can make you look like freaking gold. Now, but
with
that's not all of it.
And that was definitely in play.
That was part of it. Sure.
Yeah.
That's not all of it. I was going to say
Miz and Morrison, especially Miz.
Yeah.
Definitely helped the tone of this match. But this was not a short match.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. No. And again, that's not the whole story, because I there was enough there that he did the movement itself. He didn't look terribly green out there at WrestleMania against a legitimate tag team with a legitimate partner. He looked good, and just the selling, and just you could tell this guy's at the very least very solid fan. He's from Puerto Rico. There's a strong tradition out there, so it's not a huge surprise. I think that then when he tops it off with the Canadian Destroyer on the outside,
that. Like, I had to watch that. I was mad because I couldn't rewind on Peacock.
Anyhow, add rewind there, Peacock. Yeah.
It's a basic function of everything ever. Seriously, VCR people, VCR, basic concepts.
My TiVo had rewind.
My TiVo had that. Anyhow, they did. That was amazing. Like I said, there were moments in this match that I'm going, no, he can't do that. That's not, no, he can't do, he did, no, he can't do that. No. And somehow he's
propeller spin, Hurricane Rana. He did the whole thing in his head. He had the arms out and did the whole spin thing around. And then, and then just the moves he took too, which again is one of those things too where you got to be able to. It's easier to kind of okay, you're doing the moves here, you're doing the moves, it kind of going, and then the more veteran guys, the one taking them, and makes it look good or whatever.
They're the ones doing the.
But then you're turning around and then taking the moves too, and again the selling and just the story of it,
timing of the thing on the outside. What is it? I'm bad with that. The name
Canadian
of that.
Destroyer.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a double flip involved, basically.
Yeah.
I don't care what's happening. If you don't do that right, you're going to kill yourself. You're going to land on your head at some point. And especially because there wasn't a lot of. This is just going from the ground, flat on the ground, to doing a flip, and you have to hit it right. This isn't off the top rope where you have a lot of space and things like that. This is a quick hitting. You're going to get to the ground really fast. He did it. I mean, did it pretty smoother than I've seen other wrestlers that have done this all their life.
Sure.
Quite frankly. I Nothing but give him all
Yeah.
this was to this point, this is the match of the night.
Right.
To me.
I agree. At this point in time, this was just, and you know what? I think if I had to say anything of it, especially as far as celebrities go, this guy took it serious. Like this guy.
I wasn't playing. I'm not laughing.
He put in the time. He actually cared about his performance in the ring. He wanted to be it's not just like, oh, celebrity playing wrestler. Oh, you're a celebrity that quote unquote wants to be a wrestler. It's like, no, this guy wanted to be a wrestler, even if it was just for WrestleMania.
He was that kid that grew up, as they kept saying throughout, like he grew up really watching, like he really loves the sport.
Yeah.
You could see.
Yeah.
I mean, even like his little promo that he did, you could tell his voice inflection was different. It was, he had clearly seen this done once or twice. And good job. No, I mean, take it serious. You're going to do it serious.
Applause all the way around. For
absolutely.
This. I mean,
for sure. It was
top, probably, like, again, I would say the top celebrity performance I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen some of them where it's like, all right, you know what? You could tell
Arrow. Arrow did really well too. I'll give him
Amel.
credit.
I
was trying to remember. Yeah,
I can't remember his first name, but Amel.
I only know him as Green Arrow.
He put in some legitimate. Stephen Amell. Yep, he put in some serious time, but he was, again, you could tell, and that's the other thing too. You could tell both of those guys both Bunny and Amell are both in serious good shape and everything. Right. And so I think you could see that there was something there, but I mean, this was on another level. This was again, like you said, he was pretty much out there the whole time. And we were talking about how we were thinking this was going to be, a match to really help Damian Priest shine, because we weren't expecting this out of Bunny.
No. And I mean, he did really well. Sure, it wasn't like he did anything bad. There was even moments that you saw him look surprised. Like, granted, he's playing the spot, but there's moments that he's looking at Bunny and it's like,
damn, dude. Yeah,
we're good. We're good.
Yeah. Because and there was one time too, where the camera caught it. Bunny did a dive out onto them, and then he's laying down and he's selling like he kind of hurt his arm. But he turned his head and his camera caught him, and he's laughing his ass off. He is having a blast out there. He is having so much fun. He's just out there. He's holding his arm, and so he's kind of turning away, so because he thinks he's
trying to turn away. He doesn't know how many cameras there are.
Yeah, and then like the way the angle was, but he could tell like he is just he is busting out laughing because he's having just such a great time. And so I'm like, hey, dude, you pulled it off live at WrestleMania and did the damn thing.
Nothing but respect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nothing
props.
but respect
I mean,
for that.
Yeah, man.
So this is the match. I'm gonna say there are two basically matches of the night, and I know that's kind of
they're back to back for different reasons, but
for different reasons. This one because I guess the expectations were so. So low, but just like, okay, it's
especially
it's a celebrity. Don't hurt yourself and
exactly.
He wasn't
worried about that either.
No, that's what you're going in expecting, and this was a moment where I was like, I'm genuinely impressed. I'm genuinely impressed by all of this. So,
and
that was that match
to turn around and have this match.
Yes.
The main event for the women's champion, the SmackDown Women's Championship, Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair, and holy crap.
Man.
You could tell why it was the main event. I mean,
First off, shout out to Sasha and her hair. Love me some Sasha. I love Sasha just in general.
Sure. She was on point. She was
but her green and blue hair, I love. Everything about Sasha is she's the headliner. So I will say this is one of the they said this on the show too. I didn't realize it, that this is the first time two black women
headline WrestleMania. Yeah.
It'll be great when we can just get to the fact that they're just two people and this is a hyped up match and we're not having to point that out. But and I say that with all the feeling I mean, but it'll be great when we get there.
But the beauty of it is that once the match really got going, it didn't matter.
Oh, it was gone.
Whatever kind of thoughts you had about anything else, this match made you forget about it.
Black, white, green, purple didn't matter.
This match made you focus in on what they were doing because they weren't going to accept anything less. Women,
men didn't matter. All of that was
the damn house down 10 times over. They just rocked this thing, and the story. And one thing that was so. I was thinking about this because I think one of the weird hang-ups I've had with believing Bianca is the hair.
I agree. It never makes sense if you could fight like that. A rope around coming off your head. Just tie her up in it.
Why? Just step on it.
Just step on it.
Yeah.
On the ground.
Why am I not gonna just? And so this was
tie it to a rope where she can't move. There's so many parts of this that always seemed a little goofy.
I want to say that this was legitimately the first time. I think you've seen people kind of try, but you've also seen a lot of times where it was just almost, other than her kind of whipping it out of her way and then her using it as a whip on people, it really wouldn't necessarily come into play. And I'm just, again, it's kind of, I think that's part of it. It was just like, okay, why is someone just not going to grab that thing? Or just, and they wouldn't.
Tie it to a ring post. She can't move. Just hit her.
And so.
Not hard, people.
The way, I think this was the first time I really saw it become a focal point. Like Sasha wasn't focusing on like a leg or an arm or anything else. None of, like a head, like none of that. No, it was. And this braid.
Every time she wanted to get out of something, every time she would do a move or an extra move, this braid was involved. So it was a part of the match throughout. And there were some amazing spots in this match. One of the ones that I was thinking, actually, even before the match started, I will say this. I know personally, I'm completely guilty of this. I forget the people that I'm watching as people.
Oh, sure.
It was, and I usually don't like this type of thing because it's like, you're bringing me back into reality, and I just want to stay in my little wrestling world. And it was weirdly refreshing and really a surprisingly touching moment to see just before the bell rang. Bianca is feeling the emotion of where she's at.
Yeah.
And you could see the little kid, the person that's worked hard. I mean, these two are people that as far as their profession goes, whatever profession you're in, this is the top of their, whatever you feel about wrestling or anything, this is the top of their profession that they have worked their lives to get to. And it's that moment and everything. And she tears up.
Yeah.
And legitimately is... Even the announcer was like, I'm not sure if she's going to be able to get through this match. I mean, she legitimately, you saw this was not part of the match. This wasn't story. This was nothing. This was her as a person welling up and feeling that emotion. And she tears up and you see Sasha across the ring like, don't start that. I'm going to also tear. You can tell these two genuinely,
well, I think
forget wrestling for a minute.
Exactly. I think so. One of it is that for Sasha. I mean, sorry for Bianca. It's it has to be like it's a not even double-edged sword, but I think there's two key points of it. It's like you just said. This is the pinnacle. This is This is the top of the top.
You have arrived.
But also, it's like you're never gonna get another first WrestleMania match ever again.
First headlining WrestleMania match.
That too. And so, and to be like her first WrestleMania, I think this is her first WrestleMania match.
Period.
That's my understanding. Plus. And then to turn around and have it be the main event for the belt, and actually knowing you're going to win.
Oh, of course.
I mean,
of course.
And that's kind of part of it. Was like it was all that also kind of was part of it too. I was like, once I saw her doing that, I'm like,
oh yeah,
she's taking this thing. She is taking this thing.
I think that's when I texted you. I was like, never mind, Bianca's winning. I was like, yeah, I know what it's headed.
Yeah. And so
it took nothing away from the match. That took zero from the match. And quite frankly, I don't know. It almost built the match more because even though you knew you had a good, strong feeling what was coming.
Sure.
It was. And that's unusual for me. I do not get into it's real sappy. That's great. Okay, let's wrap this up. Let's get back to the show. Thank you. No, that it played in a weird way, played into it even more. And all of the spots where it was this groundswell of momentum, and you could just, the moments where she was struggling, you're kind of feeling it with her. You're going on that ride with her, and that's hard to do. That's really hard to do, especially if you're nowadays, jaded people like myself.
Well, exactly. We've seen a zillion matches over and over again.
Yeah.
And again, I think
I was going along for that ride. I'm like, this is unusual. It's nice. It's great. I haven't done that in a long time. It was right there. Every time she got the near pin, I was like, "Oh yeah, okay. Well, that was
exactly, yeah."
The moments right there with her,
yeah,
right. Sasha dives through the ropes. I will say I thought this was a cool spot. They just kept showing just how strong Bianca is, like legitimately, not wrestling, just legitimately strong.
Yes,
I don't care if you're carrying a box of chocolates over your head. Whatever human being you are carrying, it could be a little kid, it could be a grown person. It doesn't really matter. Try holding them above your head and then walking around. Just hold them up above your head and try to walk around.
To back up for a little bit, she did that kind of that rolling reversal where then she ends up kind of like powerlifting.
Sasha dove out the ring at her.
Yeah, and then she kind of took it, but then rolled it back. And then it's basically on her knees, and then rolls back and then gets it, and then lifts her up, and then gets her up over her head, which, like you said,
and they're away from the ring a little bit. They're probably 10 feet away from the ring at that point.
And then to walk upstairs. So then
3 steps.
You're basically doing it on one foot to another on those steel steps, which always just look janky to me. I know they're solid, but they just it's always like they
never look.
They just look like they're going to flip over or something. They never do really. But,
no,
it's just to take it and then to take that girl.
She takes her, carries her on the apron, holds her, and then dumps her in the ring. There were moments like that throughout. I was genuine. Like I said, I'm just genuinely impressed. I even put in my notes, I was kind of laughing. If Sasha using the braid, I wonder why ones don't do that more.
Well, exactly. No, I was like, I was like, I really never saw the braid really become in a story. And I think the biggest thing was that they were saying, even early on, I think the announcers did a good job by calling out the obvious, but it needed to be said that, Sasha can't go against Belair's strength. She's going to have to use her experience, her technique, whatever. They didn't go as far as to say
and her underhandedness.
Exactly. Yeah, she's coming as the heel.
Yeah.
All the promos leading up to
it. Got to be like your old boy to try to win something. So,
but yeah, it's one of those things where, hey, now listen, don't tell me HBK didn't pull no shit. But he just over and over again, and like the time where like Sasha thought she basically had her with they're outside and she had the the hair, and then basically, Bianca has it, and then she basically pulls her into the corner, and then when she basically ties her, like you were talking about, like tie her up in it or something like that, she basically ties her up into it and puts her in kind of a modified bank statement. And then the referee's like, no, you can't, you can't. And this is kind of part of it too. It was like, okay, you can't just use it as part of the hold.
She brought it in the ring with her. That's on her.
But they're saying no, you can't just use it as part of the hold. And so then she loosens it up and it gets a legitimate bank statement on her. And then they get to the ropes, and and then what was it? The one she put Bianca put Sasha in something and hits her, and then doesn't get the pin, and then
I thought that was
from Bianca was
genuine.
Yeah,
that was the moment that I was like, oh, maybe she doesn't win.
Exactly.
Have I been wrong this whole time? Oh wait, maybe, because that's the exact moment. The rookie got right there, and she, we saved face because she did really well, but in the end, the veteran gets her.
Right. I mean,
she does that
story. Just it was storytelling at its best. It
really was. And like I said, it's hard to get. I'm old and jaded.
Sure.
So actually, I was young and jaded too. So I don't think age is, but it's worse as I get older. But yeah, this was a genuinely enjoyable match. If you didn't watch it, watch it. It is a genuinely I enjoyed the whole thing.
I've got
the crying at the beginning, the ride along the way, and I guess the end.
I don't even have any nitpicks. I can't find anything to critique this thing for. I cannot find some little and you know me, I'll see it. I cannot find a thing.
I'm trying to remember. I don't even remember any botched moves or slips. I mean, of course there were some because the ring was soaking wet, but there, I don't remember them.
Sasha
I truly
don't. This thing with her hair, and then basically just kind of walks up the ropes and does the top rope thing and all this stuff. And that was the one time I was thinking because.
I thought they were both gonna fall.
With the weather,
I thought for sure.
I was like, oh,
when
that
she's
might
standing over her and has her tied up. Yeah,
and
I thought for sure she was gonna fall.
I mean, but she pulls it off. I mean, I'm like, damn, man.
I think that's where she benefits for being the size that she is. Yeah,
that too.
I think that's a huge benefit.
Sure.
Good for her,
sure. But I mean, both of them pulled off really great moves. Both of them, just again, I guess we're talking about the storytelling. I can't remember. I think there was actually some pretty decent storytelling overall with this WrestleMania. So,
and some really bad, really horrible storytelling.
Sure.
There was like a weird balance there.
Yeah. But I agree. I think the last two matches really just set it off.
Yeah. I mean, they couldn't have ended the match any better. I mean, they couldn't have ended the night any better, honestly. I mean that absolutely. Yeah. Tomorrow night, they will be hard pressed to top that match. And yes, it'll probably be Roman and all of them. They'll be hard pressed to top the emotion and everything else that went in this match. As well as it went. Nothing but, and for the end, I guess we actually have to say the end. The braid, like we said, have played a huge part, and Sasha is just yanking it at the end, and she's just yanking on it. And finally, Bianca just rips it away from her. She's like, "Give me my hair."
Oh, that's
right. She yanks it away and we've all probably taken a towel and popped someone or gotten popped with it or some version of that. And there's that crack sound. And when you get that crack sound, it hurt. It hurt. It hurt.
Oh, yeah.
There's no playing it off. It hurt. And there was a crack sound. Sasha runs toward Bianca, and Bianca has the hair and twirls it and pops her around her waist. And again, this may have been a downside to being small. It goes and hits her on her left side and wraps around, and the pop hits on her right side, and you hear it clearly crystal clearly there was a crack. Not a crack but a pop where that snapping, and a welt shows up on the side of her. Yeah. It looked like somebody took a knife and just cut right here. It was very clearly defined.
It was about as bad when MJF beat Cody with the belt, like that night where Cody had to take like all the lashes.
He actually had to have the real,
and like you could actually see it, and like so. I mean, like Cody took those, like that was
those were legitimately. He was legitimately getting hit.
Yeah. So and it's.
She even points it out after the match. She goes like this. She's off on the side, sitting out the ring, and she kind of points at it for the camera, like, "Look at this." And and so that was. She pops her. She hits her with her finisher, and Bianca does win. She does. So it's the feel good moment. Yeah. She gets to cry. Her family was there, and the fans were cheering her on. The only part of the end of that match that the one person screwed up. There was one thing. I got one thing.
Okay.
We were looking for it. We got it.
Okay.
Has nothing to do with either of the wrestlers in the ring. Has nothing to do with the referee. Has nothing to do with the lighting guy or the camera guy or anything else. Has to do with the one guy who's got one freaking job. It's an announcer. You know what the match is. You know who's going to win. They give you the note. They give you the notes, man. You know who's going to win. Michael Cole. I'm going Michael Cole.
Yeah, don't blame Adam.
Michael Cole is on the announce, and the call that he is supposed to make, the final match of WrestleMania, the moment for the win. It's the coup de grace. It's the moment that the pinnacle for everything that is coming together. This is that moment. He screws up. He goes, "Oh, she kicks out." Man, you know what the match is. Because seriously, you got one job. One. Call the match. Say this person won. That's literally
right.
Legitimately all you got to say. He goes, "Oh, she kicked out." Everyone in the arena is cheering. Bianca is celebrating. Everybody else is she won. She didn't kick out. There was no kicking out. I can't imagine them not tying that into a storyline later. But it wasn't because they meant to have it as a storyline to begin with. Because he clearly, Michael Cole clearly screws up right there. And doesn't correct himself for a while. He's like, she kicked out. I want to say he even doubled down on it by saying it again. And then what's his name that's with him?
Corey Graves. Yeah.
It's like, no, she won.
No, she won, dude.
Shut up. Just read the last line. Last line on the script says, "See, Bianca won." All right, let's keep this moving. Idiot. Yeah. And he has to correct himself finally. It was the only thing that is totally nitpicky. It has nothing to do with the match, but it was just stupid.
No, you're right. I even actually kind of.
How do you mess that up?
Yeah.
So you got one job, bro. Anyhow, but overall,
the match itself, just money, just pure money. I mean, forget
everything about that. Like I said, everything about that match. From like I said, from the wrestling, from the story, from the emotion, like the true emotion, the scripted emotion, but the real emotion. It couldn't have been. You couldn't. Man, woman, black, green, purple, doesn't matter. This was an excellent everything you want in a WrestleMania match. So, or a match period, but especially for a WrestleMania match. But
no, I agree.
So
I totally agree. But it's not over.
No,
we
have another night.
Believe it or not, it is not over, ladies and gentlemen.
There's
a whole another night of this thing. It's like the NBA and WWE just completely switch strategies.
This is true. Yeah,
NBA does it in one night.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that. Yeah, All-Star Weekend. Nope, All-Star Night. Now it becomes WrestleMania weekend. It started Friday.
Yeah. I mean, like before, you'd have like WrestleMania weekend, but WrestleMania weekend was more kind of the hype up to WrestleMania, which was that Sunday
like Hall
evening.
of Fame thing on Saturday.
Exactly. Yeah. You might even have like they had the NXT, and like they did that. They even did a 2-night NXT thing earlier this week.
Takeover.
But I didn't.
Well, not Takeover. I forget what they called it this time, but yeah.
Yeah, it was always Takeover something. It's like Takeover, and I can't remember what the title was, but they they did. So yeah, I guess they decided, especially maybe it kind of helped make up for the fact that they couldn't have fans in last year. So maybe they're saying, you know what? Also, I mean, heck, if they can draw 2 nights in a row, then let's make up.
They did it 2 nights last year because of that. That's what they. Mm-hmm. And so that's I think what they're kind of dragging into this one as well. But it again, if there's one of those weird twists to all of this, there are new and inventive things I think that are going to come out or have begun to come coming out of this last year.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. And I think
in wrestling, in the NBA.
I think in a lot of industry,
life,
I think in a lot, just the way business is being done in general. I think like some of the augmented reality stuff they're doing, people's entrances and stuff like that. It was stuff they were like, okay, let's try this out because, well, hell, why not? It's COVID time. We can always just blame everything. It on
let's just throw it out there and see how it goes.
You kind of have a lot more leeway to play around with stuff because let's see what sticks, and you wouldn't necessarily be as risk. You're less risk averse.
Give it a shot. Situation. Yeah. We can't be risk adverse because the risk is going out of business or figuring out something. So let's try to figure it out. Let's wing it. Yeah. Excellent. Overall, great night. Tomorrow night, which should be quite interesting as well. And we're going to do a preview of that.
Yeah. So what I will say is that as far as predictions go, we did do some predictions last night. I think we had some, most of the time we pretty much agreed because it was kind of obvious. We had 2 points where we disagreed. I actually picked Bianca to win this one.
Yep.
And you picked Sasha.
Yep.
But then I picked Rollins to win. You picked Cesaro. And we didn't even really put down an official prediction for the tag team turmoil thing because
I think unofficially we both said Naomi and Lana, and so both of us were wrong immediately.
But
literally after the first, we didn't care.
Yeah, it's just those kinds of matches are just so hard to begin to. Especially if you don't know all the details of it, And
for that matter, there was a whole other team that wasn't even listed on the card.
That too. So that helped that we didn't really put much into it because that threw a whole nother wrench in the works, even though it didn't. But still, it's not like they won. But so pretty much we're tied going into WrestleMania. We'll do something similar for the predictions for tomorrow night, which we will do immediately after this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a break, but instead of doing an intermission, we're actually going to stop the stream for a bit, reset, kind of get things ready to do our preview for tomorrow night, and we'll do some predictions. And if you're hanging on, you're watching, just stay tight.
You'll see a full stop, and then we're going to come right back.
We're going to pop off, and then we'll be right back, and we're going to do some predictions for tomorrow night. So, see everybody in a bit.
Till then, see you, fam.
When I'm up through the night, I can't turn down the noise, tear all the worries out of my mind. About who I'm supposed to be, I start to believe I can't get it right. Remember the days I let slip away, they were simpler times. Mama told me before you leave, if there's only one thing you remember from me, child.